As it's happening right now around the NBA.
I guess, what is your anticipation level for a game like this? The best competitors want to play with the best guys. You feel something.
I'm excited.
The Kawhi level of excitement, contagious. From cheers to jeers. 90 minutes from now, Kawhi's first game as a visitor in San Antonio. We've got all angles covered, checking in with contributors who have the latest on the Spurs and Raptors perspective. He's hungry for more. The reigning MVP says he needs another trophy. We'll chat with Chris Haynes about why maybe it's not so far-fetched to think Harden could win an MVP again this season. LeBron, Giannis, D. Rose. He isn't the only surprise, and the first All-Star voting returns. Find out who the fans want to see in Charlotte All-Star Weekend, at least so far, as we talk with the newsmakers and news reporters with opinion, perspective, and predictions. This is 10 Before Tip, presented by Ford. Come on in, and thanks for being with us as we discuss the biggest stories of the day and set the table for the night in the NBA. I'm Jared Greenberg. We get right to it tonight. 10 Before Tip, number one. It's what's happening right now.
Thanks for supporting me, the Kawhi, Leonard, the basketball player. And, that's it, really. Just thanks for the support.
You move on in life. We're not going to redo what's happened in the past in any way, shape, or form. It's of no consequence at this point, and it does no good to go backwards and talk about this, that, or the other. And one of the reasons is you guys will interpret it whatever way you want anyway. So it doesn't matter what we say. You're gonna say whatever you want. So that's a waste of our time.
What do you mean by you guys? Who's he talking about? Greg Popovich asked about regret. Yeah, exactly. Here we go with our regular Thursday national contributor, Yahoo Sports NBA insider Chris Haynes, and from San Antonio tonight, Jabari Young, writing for The Athletic. Fellas, appreciate you being along with us tonight to talk about the much-anticipated return game tonight for Kawhi Leonard. Also, the DeMar DeRozan side of things we'll get to in a bit. But let's start here. Let's talk here with you, Jabari, about, we know there's going to be boos, so I don't want to hear about that. I want to know from you if there's going to be any Greg Popovich, Kawhi Leonard interaction or embrace tonight.
Of course, Pop's going to obviously embrace him. I mean, that's not the way Popovich does things. He's always embraced ex-players. And the one thing that you can say about Kawhi Leonard, no matter what you think of him as a fan, about the way that things went over the summertime, the man did help deliver the fifth and final championship to date in the Spurs organization, as well as an NBA Finals MVP. So you got to respect that. You got to salute. Back-to-back NBA Finals, and again, NBA Finals MVP. You can't take away from what the man did here. He got to start here, and I think even Greg Popovich, though he didn't end his career here, he may not end his career here, I think Greg Popovich will even acknowledge that sometime tonight before it's all said and done.
Chris, you think there's any chance Pop puts out the hand and Kawhi says no thanks?
No, Kawhi's not that type of person. They talked a little bit even after things went down when Kawhi requested the trade. So I expect these guys to handle the situation like gentlemen. I think there will be a point at some point during the game or after the game where you will see an embrace and you will see them talk a little bit. And I say a little bit because, Kawhi doesn't have much to say. But I think everybody at least get to see that.
Well, what about the emotion here, Chris, from Kawhi? We've seen him put up big numbers against big-time opponents time and time again throughout his career. Is there any sense of nervousness or adrenaline that he's able to use tonight, coming off this career-high 45 the other night?
You know what? If you were asking me about this, about any other player, I'll be able to answer that without a doubt. But you talking about emotions? Like with Kawhi? I don't know. I think the guy just plays the game, man. I think he plays the game regardless of the circumstance of what's at stake. We don't really see a change in his demeanor whatsoever. So I think he's going to go out there. I think he's going to ball out. And I think DeMar DeRozan is going to have the same effect for his team. But I don't think he's going to let any of the drilling or the boos or the emotion of the night affect how he comes out there and play. This is Kawhi Leonard we're talking about, man. He's as close to a robot as humanly possible.
No, See, this is where I disagree with my best friend in the business, Chris Haynes. I actually think there is a little bit of emotion in this thing, man.
I'm hurt, first of all.
I think Kawhi's a human being, at the end of the day. And even he said today, it might hit me closer to game time. I think it will hit him. When he'll hear the Bulls. Listen, his family's in town. His mom's in town. His mom summoned the family members to San Antonio and said, look, we got to go support him, because they know this is the biggest game of his career. This has never happened to him before, okay? So I think there will be a little bit of a bit of emotion. I would not be surprised to actually see Kawhi struggle early on as he tries to get himself involved in this game. Listen, you can't forget, these guys are human beings, and in human beings, the human element of it all is that they have feelings too. No matter what we think of Kawhi Leonard, no matter what the robot stance that he may take from time to time, he is a human being as well. And today I saw him, I had a chance to rap with him after the whole media hoopla, and I can tell you, it's going to affect. The man don't even know what a visitor locker room is, okay? That clip you saw just a minute ago, he was actually being directed to the visitors locker room probably for the first time in his career here at the AT&T Center. So I think there will be a little bit of emotion. And remember, the man helped deliver a championship here. Again, he said he gave his blood, sweat, and tears in his uniform. There's going to be a little bit of emotion once that ball tips off.
Well, Jabari, that'll be the last time that you appear on 10 Before Tip, and don't call me your best friend in the business. Okay?
You my second best friend, man. Chris is my first. I met him first. I got to give him that.
I'm like KD. I don't come in second place to anybody, okay? Remember that, fella. Remember that. Let's talk here about Jabari. You said something on a podcast recently about not ruling out the possibility of Kawhi Leonard entertaining the idea of coming back to San Antonio in July.
Listen, what I said is that he's a free agent, and the San Antonio Spurs will have money, okay? There is nothing that prevents them from going after Kawhi Leonard once again. Who's to stop them, okay? There's nothing to say that they can't do that. Now, this is just from me, but I don't think that if bygones are bygones, okay? And the Spurs have the money, and they have the room. What prevents them from saying, hey, listen, Kawhi, you might want to come back? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's a free agent, right? Any team can come after him at any given moment, and I don't think the Spurs would have to be fools to not sit up here and say, hey, let's at least call the man to see if he can entertain it, okay? And if
Jabari, hold on, Jabari.
You have DeMar, you have
were
Marcus,
right there
why not?
in the front lines, Jabari. You see how this thing was handled? You see how it went
I understand,
down?
but bygones can be bygones, Chris. Look, LeBron came back to Cleveland, did he not? Okay, so
after 4
why
years,
can't Kawhi come back to San Antonio? Okay,
after 4 years.
Maybe it takes Kawhi a little bit shorter term to get over things. Okay, if you call it, look, we made a mistake, man. We sorry. Can you come back? Come back. We got DeMar, we got LaMarcus. Come back. What's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you're the Spurs, why wouldn't you? If he's the biggest free agent on the market, you owe it to yourself as an organization to sit up here and to at least entertain the idea. Again, I'm not saying that's official. I'm not saying that that's coming from him or his people. I'm just saying, why not? Why not?
Well, because
I'm going to leave that alone, Jabbar.
Leave it alone. I'll take it on. I'm cool.
Well, I guess expect the unexpectable in the NBA these days.
It's the NBA. You can always expect the unexpected, Jared. It's the
Jabari,
NBA.
Oh, boy.
We appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us for the last time here on 10 Before Tip.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Jabari Young, great work covering the Spurs and the NBA for The Athletic. We still keep Chris Haynes around. 10 Before Tip number 2. Let's go buzzing. It's what's buzzing today around the NBA. And, hey, look at this. If the All-Star voting was done today, Giannis would be the captain from the East, and LeBron would be the captain from the West. That's because the first returns are out. Now, keep this in mind for you math whizzes out there. I am not one of them, but let me do my best here. The fan vote counts for 50% of the vote. The players and the media count for the other 50% of the vote. And this is just the first return. There'll be several more that come your way up until February's All-Star game in Charlotte. But as of now, Giannis and LeBron receiving the most votes in their respective conferences. There are some surprises. How about Derrick Rose? Second among guards in the Western Conference. Rose hasn't been an All-Star since 2012. Dwayne Wade hasn't been an All-Star since 2016. He is second among guards in the Eastern Conference. And maybe the biggest surprise of them all, because these guys are, well, this is a future Hall of Famer, and this guy's a former MVP. It's a guy who's targeted to be Rookie of the Year, but LeBron didn't make the All-Star team his rookie year. Luka Doncic second in the West among forwards, ahead of KD, ahead of PG, ahead of AD. Wow, the fans weighing in, and Luka Doncic is on a tear. Right now, here's the West front court as we see it today. First returns, and again, this is the fans' vote. LeBron, the only one over 1 million right now. Doncic, #2 overall. Let's talk with Chris Haynes about this one, my best friend in the business. I can promise you that. Okay, so let's talk first and foremost about the fact that this year, the actual draft will be held on TNT. So we need some personality. We need some great TV stars like our friend Chris Haynes here.
Okay.
You.
I'll take that.
What are your thoughts on the fans putting Giannis and LeBron and how they would do when the draft is on TV on TNT?
Look, I think Giannis has a hidden personality which I think will be very compelling to a lot of people. We all know how LeBron James is, and we all wanted the draft to be taking place live in front of everybody so they can see the process of how it goes, see the step-by-step selection. So I think it would be good. I definitely, Jared, please ask me. I'm dying for you to ask me about my opinions on this fan voting and what's going on here thus far.
Well, let's just serve it up to you.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you this. I think I think I'm glad you mentioned that because I wasn't going to say anything otherwise. But I think it's good that they got the involvement of the players and the media to kind of fill in the rest of the percentage for the vote. But look, I think Dwayne Wade. If we want to look at history and you talk about Magic Johnson, the way he got in the final All-Star game his last year, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, I wouldn't be so mad at that. And I know a lot of fans are probably getting ticked off about Dwayne Wade being there as of right now. But Derrick Rose and the Luka fever is real. It is real. There's no doubt in my mind that I believe that he's going to be a star. I definitely think he's going to be in that category when it's all said and done. But right now, with the names of Damian Lillard, you just mentioned Kevin Durant, above him, and then Derrick Rose. I love the story. I love the
get out there, fans, and vote.
America loves these type of stories, but it's not time. It's not time. Let's do right by these players.
You're saying less cowbell, less Luka fever, less cowbell.
Just a tad.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a tad.
It's only the first returns, Chris. And just like
thank God.
And just like you on this show, we've got more of it to come, including more from San Antonio, where Kawhi spent 7 seasons as a member of the Spurs, won an NBA title. We'll check in with Doug Smith, longtime Raptors writer, on the Toronto perspective. Kyle Lowry out tonight.